It was supposed to be a routine cargo flight, until a thunder of metal ripped through the silence of Hong Kong's dawn sky. October 20th, 2025, the world's busiest cargo hub, Hong Kong International Airport. At 3:50 a.m., flight EK9788, a massive Boeing 747-400 freighter, descended through the pre-dawn fog. Operated by ACT Airlines of Turkey on behalf of Emirates Sky Cargo, it had traveled thousands of miles from Dubai, carrying no cargo, only its four-man crew. Radar data showed a flawless approach. No distress calls, no weather warnings. Inside the cockpit, everything appeared normal. The crew prepared for landing on runway 07L, a 3,800-meter stretch of asphalt built on reclaimed land extending into the South China Sea. But within seconds of touchdown, everything changed. The 747 suddenly veered left, tires screeching, alarms sounding. Ground controllers watched in horror as the giant aircraft smashed through the perimeter fence, colliding with a patrol vehicle before plunging into the dark waters beyond the runway. Chaos on the tarmac. "Mayday! Mayday! Aircraft off the runway!" Those were the first frantic words echoing through the Hong Kong control tower. Rescue teams scrambled across the wet tarmac as the aircraft's tail disappeared beneath the waves. 2 airport ground workers, both stationed near the perimeter road, were struck and killed instantly. Fire crews raced to the scene, deploying inflatable rafts and floodlights. Within minutes, divers from the Hong Kong Fire Services Department entered the cold, oil-slicked water. The 4 Turkish crew members were pulled from the cockpit section, shaken but alive. One pilot suffered multiple fractures, another was in shock, mumbling about a rudder lock and no left control. As daylight broke, the scale of the disaster became clear. Twisted fragments of fuselage floated near the seawall. The once proud 747 lay broken, its wings shattered, engines submerged, and tail barely visible above the waves. The investigation begins. When a giant falls, the world wants answers. Within 24 hours, Hong Kong's Civil Aviation Department launched a full investigation, joined by the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board and the aircraft's manufacturer, Boeing. Because ACT Airlines is based in Turkey, the Turkish Directorate General of Civil Aviation also sent representatives. The black boxes, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, were quickly recovered from 15 meters underwater by Hong Kong police divers. Initial data revealed the aircraft's landing gear deployed normally. However, a critical rudder input appeared moments before impact, something that puzzled engineers. Was it pilot error or a hidden mechanical fault? Meanwhile, international media descended on Hong Kong. Satellite trucks lined the airport perimeter. Hashtags like #Hong Kong crash and #Boeing 747 crash investigation trended globally as questions swirled around safety standards, maintenance, and oversight. Inside the cockpit, every crash tells a story. This one began inside the cockpit. Investigators released the cockpit voice transcript 3 days later. It revealed calm professionalism until the final 20 seconds. "Landing checklist complete," the captain said. "Speed 135, holding center line," replied the first officer. Then came confusion. "Rudder jam, can't hold it." Seconds later, alarms blared. "Bank angle, pull up," followed by impact. Experts noted that the Boeing 747's rudder control system has multiple redundancy layers, making a complete jam extremely rare. But ACT Airlines had a prior maintenance note about sluggish rudder response, written months before the crash and reportedly cleared without full component replacement. That detail drew the attention of Boeing engineers and Hong Kong's Civil Aviation Department. Governments step in. This was no longer just an accident. It became a test of accountability. The Hong Kong Transport and Logistics Bureau led the public response, supported by the Fire Services Department, Airport Authority Hong Kong, and Civil Aviation Department. Turkey's Ministry of Transport confirmed that the crew were experienced. The captain had over 12,000 flight hours. The United Arab Emirates General Civil Aviation Authority also joined the probe, since Emirates Sky Cargo had leased the jet. Together, these agencies coordinated through the International Civil Aviation Organization, ensuring full transparency. Statements from Boeing confirmed they would provide technical assistance at every stage of the investigation. As evidence mounted, the focus shifted from weather and crew to maintenance and oversight. The words "system failure" began to appear in official briefings. The hidden fault. Behind every disaster lies a small detail that changes everything. Weeks later, the NTSB confirmed that a rudder power control unit, a critical hydraulic component, had failed mid-landing. Microscopic cracks were found inside its actuator valve, a defect traced back to overpressure damage from years earlier. The system failure caused an uncontrollable yaw moments before touchdown, sending the 747 off the runway. Investigators concluded that the issue went undetected because maintenance checks focused on visual inspections rather than deep internal testing. It was a chilling revelation. A single mechanical flaw, invisible to the naked eye, had triggered a billion-dollar disaster. Aftermath and global shockwaves. What began as a local tragedy became a global wake-up call. Following the report, the International Federation of Airline Pilots Associations demanded safety checks on all 747s still in service. Boeing issued an urgent service bulletin to operators worldwide. Hong Kong's chief executive addressed the nation, vowing to strengthen airport emergency response systems and safety audits. In Turkey, ACT Airlines faced intense scrutiny, and Emirates Sky Cargo temporarily suspended wet lease operations with the carrier. Families of the two ground victims received full compensation under international aviation law. Meanwhile, the recovered wreckage was transported to a secure hangar at Czech Lapkok Airport, a haunting reminder of the fragility of flight. Lessons from the deep. Every tragedy leaves behind a message, this one whispered from beneath the sea. The crash of flight EK9788 reshaped global cargo flight protocols. Mandatory hydraulic system scans were introduced, and Hong Kong International upgraded its runway safety barriers. For survivors, recovery was slow, both physical and emotional. The first officer, speaking months later, said quietly,
"It all happened so fast. 1 second we were landing. The next we were underwater."
His words echoed through the aviation community as a symbol of human vulnerability and resilience. In the end, the world moved on, but the lessons remained. Metal can fail, systems can falter, but every investigation, every discovery, brings us one step closer to safer skies. The final words. Tragedy reminds us how thin the line is between control and chaos. In the story of flight EK9788, we saw the limits of human skill tested against mechanical failure, and the unbreakable teamwork of those who risked everything to save lives in the dark waters off Hong Kong. Every crash teaches the world something new, about technology, about courage, about the relentless pursuit of safety in the skies. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true aviation documentaries and survival stories. Your support keeps these untold stories flying. Until next time, fly safe.